Hey everybody, welcome to UAA basketball with Coach Rusty Osborne. And Coach, I guess we could talk about it in a lot of order, but Simon Frazier seems like a good place to start.
Yeah, I thought things weren't looking real good after about the first 4 minutes. We are, we're playing with a short lineup right now, not height, but just in numbers. We lost John McFadden for a while, who's fills in at the 4 and the 5 spot for us. So our bench was pretty short, and but we came out and we didn't guard them very well in Canada when we played down there. We gave up 87 points, and so we really talked about that. And after the first 4 minutes, I think our defense was our Canadian defense again, because I think they had 14 or 15 points in the first 4 minutes, and 14-3 or something like that. And we got the media timeout and talked about it, and then from there on, I thought we probably had one of our best defensive performances of the year. Guys were, we were terminating possessions for the most part. We were rotating in all of our concepts and making it tough for them. We were able to take some of their main guys out. They have 4 really good scorers.
And 2 of them were featured that game, especially.
I mean, Luke Howard is their leading scorer, and we were able to get him in foul trouble, which kind of limited him. And then Lenz DuPont, number 5, who really hurt us down there. We were able to contain him a little bit more. And then they added Zach Stone, the 7-footer, who had started for him for 2 years, right after we played him. I think our game Saturday night was his 4th game. And, so that was another dynamic that they added since we had played them. And our guys did a pretty good job on Zach Saturday night too. Now, Irish Kokwia, their guard, scored some points, but we made it tough on him. He had to take 17 shots to get his points. And then number 2, Tate Christensen, who's not a big scorer for him, was kind of the recipient of us paying attention to other guys. He scored a little bit more than we wanted him to, but we were able to limit those other big-time guys and hold them to, under 60 points, which gives you a chance to win.
So Rusty, I was born in Vancouver. Christensen is from North Vancouver. So I was kind of embarrassed when he hit a 3-pointer off the glass from straight out, and then did one of these like did it on purpose. I just said, is that a Canadian? I didn't appreciate that.
I missed it. I saw it on film when I watched afterwards, but I guess that's the game these days. It doesn't matter what the score is or how you do it. It's look at me, and some people say, well, let's have fun, but I think there's a time and place to have fun, and if you're calling attention to yourself after an accidental shot, I'm not sure that's a time to be calling attention to yourself. But they didn't score much more after that either. I think that gave them the 7-point lead, and I think they only scored 4 more points the rest of the game, and so we were able to overcome that and make some plays down the stretch. We executed 2 sets. We got fouled on one, and then Hassan was able to make the game winner at the end of the game there.
And really, the press, I'm a fan of the press, but I think when you spot it like you did, and the psychology of the press at the end of the game, I mean, that was a huge factor when they just threw a couple balls up for grabs and your guys were all over it.
Yeah, and finishing the play is a big part of it too, as you can get a turnover, but if you don't capitalize on it, sometimes it does more harm than good. We were able to, get a deflection, and Jesse was able to score quick, and then we got another steal, and then Hassan was able to follow up on an offensive rebound and got us right back in it. And I think that not only did it get us in it, it shook them a little bit, and their next offensive possession wasn't real good. So we haven't used that press a whole lot this year. We've used another one, but it definitely paid dividends. And I thought we had good rotations. I thought we were smart with our trap and didn't get over exuberant. And so it was nice to see. Like I said, I mean, all around after the first 4 minutes, we were really good defensively with a lot of things.
I read where in your last 5 games, I might not have this exactly right, but it's been an average of they've been decided by under 3 points. And I think too that a lot of times, seems like most of the time, there's a shot at the end. You know, you make the shot at the end, even, you know, it's not the X and the O's, it's the Jimmy and the Joes, or, you know, a shot rolls out. And
Yeah, you know what's interesting is both teams that night had their last 5 games were that way. Simon had played 4 games right in a row before us. It came down to a last second. They had won 2 of those. Coquia hit a big 3 against St. Martin's to win the game for them, but they had lost to Western on a shot at the end, and then their game against Fairbanks on Thursday had gone to overtime,
Right.
and it ended up being a 2-point game. So we had played in 5 straight games down to 1 possession, and they had also, and so it was nice for us to come out on top and get that one, because we hadn't been playing poorly. We haven't been really good offensively since Sean went down, but you know, we've been defending and keeping ourselves, giving ourselves a chance, and so it was nice to get the payoff on Saturday night.
so the last play with Sam, you know, they were playing so much help defense, so that clear out, you know, they're afraid to help out. It was just seemed to be the exact right thing and the exact right finish.
Well, I mean, Ty Burriston, who's, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I know he was leading the country in made threes, and he's still in the top 5, and he garners a lot of attention. There's a lot of face guarding going on with him, and so, you know, we had him in the corner. We didn't think they would be able to help off him, and so we felt really good about the play. We thought we could get, if we could get it to him, and Hassan's a good athlete. He had a double gap there to work through, and it was just a matter of him, like you said, finishing. You know, you can get the shots, but they got to go in, and he made a great play, got there, came to a nice controlled jump stop, and was able to split 2 guys, including the 7-footer, and get it into the basket. And so, great execution by all the way around.
Yeah, I think of Hassan, he's played great, you know, especially, you know, toward the middle and late in the season. But in terms of picking out your last shot guy, he's not necessarily an obvious go-to guy, but in that situation, he was the exact right guy.
Yeah, I mean, we really thought that that play especially would give him an opportunity to, you know, beat his guy off the dribble. We figured they'd be looking at some other guys, and you know, so that's the one we went with. It was, you know, in all honesty, I mean, you've coached, it was also the easiest one. I mean, it's basically just dribble down 1 pass, and
We call it the Craig.
So there's not, you know, there's not a lot of opportunity for error in there. You know, the more complicated to play, sometimes the more chance for error. And so that was pretty simple concept. And I was right down by the official. We had 12 seconds left, and if I didn't like the look at it after he caught it, I was going to call another timeout because we had 1 left. And so, but as soon as he caught it, he got the advantage, and we let it go, and it worked out for us.
Curious what your thoughts are at the end of the game. It seems like, you know, your team's relaxed and you're very focused. Your team comes out focused, and again, we talked about shots rolling out, but you know, you go out and do what you want to do. I'm thinking of the circle play. I don't know if I have the exact right terminology. You guys that was kind of your go-to play at the end of the games when, I don't know who it was, but they hit a shot and then the next time they got fouled on the 3.
Yeah.
But it seems like now there's kind of a mix where you know, people scout so much you don't necessarily run the same play.
I mean, we've used that play this year once or twice. We've got a couple other end of the game side out of bounds plays, and we also have some, you know, from the baseline. And that's what I said. You know, we knew with that play with Hassan that if he drove it and I didn't like it, he was going to be below the free throw line. And so if I called timeout, we were going to get a baseline out of bounds play, and we would have had, you know, 5 or 6 seconds. And so felt good that we could still run a good play and get a good shot if we didn't like it. But luckily we didn't have to. We've really struggled offensively. I mean, I think we shot 35% Saturday night. And so our guys have really bought into trying to defend and give ourselves a chance every night. And that's what's been happening, despite us, you know, really being hit hard with the injury bug.
And I think of Coach McCarthy, he's like a lot of coaches, and that is you see something good and you steal it. So I'm assuming, since you've been running that play for a long time, that when he used it a couple of years ago and Hadukovic finished on it, made a big celebration, that you know, that you deserve at least a little credit.
Yeah, I don't know. His wasn't exactly, but I would say it's probably a cousin of that play. That was a really good one too, and we've done something similar a couple of times also. And like you said, when you're in conference play, just like when you were coaching in high school, when coaches coach the same team year after year after year, you kind of learn, and you've got a catalog of things, and so we really got to change some things or add some things as years go by. We don't do much for non-conference because they don't see it that much. But once you get into the league, and especially the second time around, which we're in now, I mean, you really got to be cognizant that it's a good play, but they may know it before you do. They're telling the guy that he's going to the wrong spot, and so. But like every program, we've got a catalog of them that we try to use, and we try to add a little bit before each game in the second half of the league that kind of fits the opponent that we're coming up against.
I'm kind of thinking, you call out a play and then their whole bench starts calling out the play, and that's just the way that goes. So you're up a point, it's 4.1 on the clock, and they end up getting a good shot, but with a 1-point game, you kind of got to be careful. It's not like you just guard the three or play it that way. So what were your thoughts? And
well, our thoughts was, I called timeout after they set up, but even before that, I had a feeling that's what they were going to do. But in a situation like that, like you said, when you got a 1-point lead and they're in the bonus, knowing what they're going to do and stopping a guy from doing it is two different things. We tried to kind of sandwich him a little bit, but they were able to get it to him. And then at that point, you're kind of at his mercy. You try to set some blockades, where he's got to weave around a little bit. But he was able to get himself down there. Thankfully, though, we had guys waiting for him, and Hassan was able to get a good contest and make him. He was able to stop his dribble and get a good contest.
And, a little bit.
Yeah, Bishop was crowding him a little bit as he went down, and so all in all, I thought it was a pretty good job considering how careful we had to be. Been nice to have a 3-point lead. We might have fouled him, sent him to the free throw line, but I was not unhappy with how things went on that last play. So, even if he'd have made it, I thought the guys made a good decision on how to guard it.
I don't think you don't think of 4.1 seconds being forever, but if you run and jump them, it is enough time for someone to catch it and shoot it. So kind of caught that way. So tomorrow, I'm assuming you get back on a plane.
Yeah, we leave. We'll be back over here at the arena at about 5:45 a.m. and packing up and heading over to the airport we got to fly about 8:15, I think, and we'll get down and we got to drive across the pass. There's supposed to be a little snow in the pass, so
I've been there.
Hopefully not too bad, and then we'll get over there, get a practice, and expecting a good crowd for the game Thursday night. We tend to play about half our road games as double headers, half with our girls and then half with the Western Washington girls because of the way things work out. So with the Western Central rivalry, the girls are playing their rivalry game before ours, so I would imagine that'll draw some fans who will kind of bleed over into our game, and so it should be a great atmosphere. Central's done a great job with their facility. They got a great place to play, and they're playing well. Reviewing the film, I thought we did a pretty good job. We just went on an offensive drought the last time we played them for the last 9 minutes of the first half, and we've got to try to correct that and see if we can score better. But we're also down a few guys, John and Sean, and so but nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We got to find a way to get things accomplished with who we have. Next guy up.
So I'm thinking Central's on I-5, and or I-90, and I've driven it a lot, and I love looking at gyms, but it's always a race. So you're trying to get from Pullman to
Yeah.
Seattle in 4.5 hours
Yeah.
or whatever. So I haven't been to that gym.
Yeah,
But
they've turned their gym into almost kind of like a little mini arena. Now, from the outside, it looks the same, but inside, they now have a balcony that goes all the way around, and so you can, if you're on the second level, you can walk around. You don't have to go downstairs and walk up bleachers. They've got upper bleachers on both sides now, and lower ones, and so I'm not sure what their official capacity is, maybe 3,800 or something like that, but. It's brand new. They added a nice little practice PE gym upstairs. That's nice for them. That we actually used last year when they hosted the tournament, and so they get a good crowd, and they've got a nice facility to play in, and so it's fun. I mean, we'd rather play in front of 1,500 fans that are against us than 100, 125 like we do at a few gyms around the league.
you can make the crowd cheer, but it's equally as fulfilling to make the crowd be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about listen for the silence. If it's silent in there, you're having some success.
So from Central to Northwest Nazarene and Napa, I don't know if Central has a big airport, but what's that game plan?
Well, we've done both. This time we're going to fly. We'll drive back to Seattle on Friday morning, and
2 hours.
and then it's about an hour and 35 or
You're racing,
but you
too.
got to be there 2 hours in advance. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're leaving a good 4 hours. So I mean, you can drive it, but this is the time of year where you're going against multiple passes, and so
You can get anything when you go through.
yeah,
the
go
pass.
through Pendleton and to Baker and through that area. Never know what you're going to get. If the weather's good and the roads are good, it's about 6 hours, and so you can actually get there a little bit quicker than if you fly because of the time that you got to be at Seattle Airport these days with construction 2 hours before, which means you're dropping a rental car off 2:15 before you had the flight and all that. I mean, by the time if you just jump in the car in Ellensburg and start driving to Nampa, I mean, you're going to be there sooner than if you fly. But just to make sure we don't get caught in some mountain snow pass with the weather forecast, we'll drive back across and fly over this time, and we'll get there late afternoon on Friday, get a practice Friday evening, and then we'll play on Saturday night.
So Napa, not that far from Boise. Is
About 15-20 minutes from the airport.
Okay.
Maybe no traffic. It's 10 minutes from the edge of Boise to Nampa.
It strikes me that when I've been at camps and seen Idaho coaches and players, that even though it's a smaller state, that they're pretty serious about their basketball, and I imagine they have good fans and good following.
Yeah, I mean, NNU, NNU and Central have the best crowds, and so Saturday night game, I would imagine it'll be a good crowd. They do a lot of special stuff also, so I mean, there's been times when they've done family church night, and it's 2,000 people there at our game. So I'm not sure if they have anything special tonight, but I would imagine there'll be 1,000 people or more there for that game. So should be two good atmospheres for us to play in. Two teams at the top of the league.
So after playing them last time and getting ready to play them again, are there one or two players that you're really on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, Central's got they've got a bunch of guys. I mean, Kevin Holden, it is an excellent scorer. Garrett Anderson's a transfer, Division I transfer, about 6'6" kid, had a good game against us here. But they also have Maverick Sanders, who made the game winner last weekend against NNU in overtime. Mitch Brizzi is a 6'9" post guy who was at Weber State when he was a freshman. So I mean, they've got a lot of talent. I mean, there's some other guys I'm not even mentioning that are just as good as those guys. So they've got a good team. It'll be a challenge for us. And then Nazarene has a Division I transfer who's leading them in scoring, Kai Dixon. But they also have a veteran group, Ryzen Burgess, his fifth year there, his fourth year is kind of a starter, and his shooting percentages, his numbers are down this year, but he is an excellent player for them. They've got third-year point guard. They've got, of course, Sullivan Menard, who's a good shooter from Alaska, as a graduate kid, and so they're a very veteran team, very old. And other than Sullivan and Kai Dixon, I mean they've played together, so they're used to their system, and they're having a good season. And so we had a close one with them here. Hopefully we can stay in it and give ourselves a chance down there as well.
Well, just a couple more questions before we let you go pack your bags again. And one of them that I probably missed earlier was demonstrate a lot of depth in the last game, even if it was for just a couple minutes, and even if it was with lineups with kids that hadn't necessarily played a lot, and their plus minus wasn't too bad, and they really, if they didn't increase the score, they at least held it, and then you were able to get 4 of the starters back in who were fresh for the final minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we had some guys who were getting a chance to play a little bit more than they had. And I think at one point, I didn't do it on purpose. You're just subbing, as needs are, guys tired or whatever. I think we had 4 Alaskans on the floor at the same time. And I'm not sure which 4 they were, but I remember looking out there and seeing 4 out there at the same time. And like you said, they more than held their own. I mean, of course, we've got 2 in our starting lineup with Hassan and Bishop, and so we have a lot of confidence that guys will step up as long as we don't overwhelm them and don't put them in a situation that is not good for them, whether that's a size matchup or an athletic matchup or just playing them 2 minutes because they're too many minutes because they're just inexperienced. But Parker has given us some good minutes this year. And Luke Devine probably had his best game with 8 rebounds the other night, and he was defending, and I think he scored a bucket, got an assist. And Luke Johnston did not get in, but
played the Thursday night.
He played a little Thursday night, and he played against Billings, and so I mean those guys. The crappy part about injuries is when you lose good players that they're out of the lineup, but it's a silver lining like last year when we lost Bishop. Sloan and Lyman Simmons were able to get a lot of experience, and they stepped up and did some good things for us. And so hopefully the silver lining with some of these injuries is Parker and Luke and some of the other guys who might not have played as much are getting a little bit more experience this year than they would have, which will pay dividends as we move forward into the future.
And the future's coming awful fast with the season winding down, and it seems like for the last couple of weeks every game is critical and could have a play, but none more than the ones you're going to play as you finish out the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to I guess 7 games now. So we've got this road trip, and then we come home, and we're actually back on the road next week at Fairbanks, just a Saturday night game, so we don't have the Thursday, which is kind of nice. And we're back home for final 2 home games, including senior night the weekend after, and then we finish up on the road at Western Oregon and St. Martin's, who we have not seen since the first week of December. I mean, It's crazy. It's 3 months in between seeing 2 of the teams. Just the season changed so much, the lineups changed so much. It's like you're playing an alien team. It's just the crazy way we schedule in our league, and so some seniors are coming down to their last games, and we're trying to give them a chance to earn another one with a postseason berth. And, it's tougher than we expected with some of the injuries, but I know our guys are going to give great effort. We've had a couple of decent practices this week, and they're going to play hard. They're going to battle, and if we don't come out on top, it's not because they didn't play hard and give an honest effort, which is all you can ask.
Right.
Put them in a position, let them try to take advantage of what you put them in, and make some baskets and stop the other team from making baskets, and hopefully you're successful. So,
well, my plan is to drive to Fairbanks, and my brother Calvin, who said, "I'll see you up there." He's planning on jumping on a plane, so I'm thinking it over. But I know this important games coming up. If you can steal a few on the road, play well at home, you'll get to play in the postseason tournament, and that's what everybody's goal is.
Yeah, I mean, we have to win some games. You know, we're at 4 wins right now. Probably got to get to at least 8 or 9. I would imagine, maybe more the way things are playing out. But all you can do is concentrate on the next one. So we'll concentrate on the Wildcats for Thursday night, and if we get it, we'll move on. If we don't, we'll move on, and just try to stay positive and try to control what we can. So looking forward to seeing how we react with a short bench and going on the road. But it's we wish we'd won some more games so far, but it's just a tremendous bunch to coach. They're great individuals. They're great student athletes. They represent not only UAA but Anchorage in the state of Alaska in a first-class manner, and cherish the relationships we're building with them, and looking forward to Thursday night.
All right. Well, we thank you for visiting with us again. It's been very informative. I thought I knew something about basketball, but I'm always finding out something when I talk to you. That's going to do it for this week's show. And thanks for joining us. And thanks to Rusty Osborne. And good luck to the Seawolves on this road trip and the rest of the season.